Greetings, people. Before the last video, we were talking to Brendan, and he was just telling us his experience of his wife, hearing that his wife has cancer. So we're going to pick up the conversation again there so that he can tell us, because we do want to find out about, how he felt and how he dealt with these things. I do believe that these are important issues that we should really be thinking about. So back over to you, Brendan.
Okay. Before I got into her passing, it's something important I have to say to her. The Sunday, which was the 4th of October, um, we had a phone call from the priest that married us back in 1991. And I remember her talking to the priest, and I'm thinking, well, she's perked up. She seems really, really good. She seems really happy, and I thought she ain't going nowhere. This girl ain't going nowhere. She's gonna be here for the next 50 years. She's not going anywhere. And and it was on that day after the phone call, I made the decision to say to her, Pauline, when you go, what do you want? And that was hard. Imagine asking your partner how you want to wait when you die, what do you want?
Yes.
So I said to her, when you go, what do you want? Do you want to be buried or cremated? And she gave me the answer. She goes, cremated. Now I was surprised what she was going to say being buried, but she goes, I want to be cremated. I already knew what song she liked for the funeral, so I knew what she liked. I knew two songs what she liked. But the one song I didn't know, as I have three songs, and then one song I chose myself and what we used to go to church and she played the song she played. So I knew the song she liked. And so when she goes to me, this was really, really strange as well. She goes to me, Brendan, she goes, I know what you like already. I know what you like, Brendan. She goes, when I go, you know, you can you need to find somebody else. She said that to me. She goes, Brendan, you need to find somebody else. Because I know what you like, I know what you like. You won't be able to listen, you won't be able to be by yourself. And I thought, and I said to her, don't be silly, you're not gonna find anybody else. Don't be silly. You're gonna be forever. But she gave me that permission, and that's lovely for us to do, to move on, to move forward with life. So I don't think if she hadn't given me that permission, I may not have been able to do that. Maybe
Yeah.
still in terms of
But you
honoring her
had you
memory.
had her blessing,
I
and
had a
that
blessing.
you had
She gave
her.
me a blessing to do that. Now this is not, I had no idea where she was gonna go. I just thought that was the day I'm gonna find out when she wants.
Yes.
'Cause I thought I gotta find out at some point.
Mhm.
The Monday was my sister's birthday. Tuesday, we went to Tuesday morning. Doctors was supposed to come and check her blood pressure. They came. The Monday evening, we couldn't get something wasn't right, but she felt better in the end. Tuesday morning, she was feeling better, but her blood pressure was very low. I had her own blood pressure reading kits that I always used to use, and it wasn't getting a read. She had no blood pressure. She had nothing. That was not even high. It was no pressure, but she was still alive, which is really strange. The nurse came and she goes, maybe your kit's not working properly. Use mine. So she used her blood pressure kit. No pressure at all. How could she be alive with no pressure? I don't know. She goes to me, Brendan, call the ambulance. Your wife's really ill. So I had a second of panic of nothingness and I called the ambulance. Now this time my children were here. Kyle and Kyra were here. My children. They were somewhere around the house. And then I called the ambulance. Two ambulances came in fact. And then they all came around the bedroom, and there was about 8 paramedics around the bedroom, trying to look at her and trying to think. And then the next thing she said, she goes, I can't breathe. She goes, one of the paramedics, I can't breathe. They gave her oxygen, and then said to me, you need to dress her for us to take her to hospital. You know, so I had to go in a wardrobe and find a dress that she could wear. I can laugh at it now. I'm not laughing at her death.
I know. Yeah.
I'm laughing at the situation in that it was what gets me is that Holly was quite, she wasn't busty, but she's a woman. She likes her things. She likes to look good. Even in her last moments of life, she goes to me, Brendan, that's not the right dress. She, she's at me that different dress. So I took one dress out, wasn't the right one. I found another dress that she liked. So that's why I'm laughing because I remember even the
Yeah.
moments of she still had to. had to try and look good, you know. And so I put the dress on, best I can, I dressed her properly, and all that kind of stuff. And the last thing I said to her, I hugged her. She was lying in the bed, and I was like leaning over her. She was oxygened up, and I gave her a big hug. I said to her, "I love you, Pauline." And she kind of mouthed it back to me, but she couldn't say it back to me. And that was the last time I spoke to her. And that's when I think she died in my heart, because that's when I last saw her. I last saw her. I last saw her.
Mhm.
And then she was taken to hospital. And because it's COVID and everything, I couldn't even go in the ambulance. I had to drive myself. So I drove to hospital. There's a long queue for COVID people. I had to join the queue. Say, I'm not here for COVID. I'm not COVID. I'm here for my wife. I had to go to the queue and say to them, can I go in? My wife's about to go. I knew she was going to go. During that time, my son called me and said, Dad, Mum's gone. They've called her, said she's gone, but they brought back, they resuscitated her. So I knew when I was going to go in there, I was going to see her passing. So I got in there in the end, and then when I got into the room of bad news, as I call it, I remember there's a room, soft furnishings on the wall, cushions everywhere, fluffy pictures on the wall. Thinking, what's this room for? It's a room. I call it the room of bad news. It's just a soft room, lights, furnishings. Two doctors come out, and the doctor that was treating her from all these years came out and said to me, "We've tried everything, but we couldn't save her."
Yeah.
In my mind, I knew that I was prepared for that.
Mhm.
So I said, "Okay, where is she? Let me go and see her." So I went in the room next door, and she was on the trolley bed, and she was gone. She had gone. And I was angry. I said, Pauline, what you done, man? I was angry with her. I said, what did you do? She said, that's not what we agreed back in August 1991. We didn't agree that. We agreed we're going to be together. That's not part of the contract. So I was
Yeah.
angry with her.
Mm.
I was angry with her. Then
Yeah.
I had my phone on me. And then we got married to, our first dance and our wedding was So Amazing by Luther Vandross. I didn't even know the song, you know. So I found it on my phone, I found it on YouTube or something, and I played that song, and I kind of danced with her. She was lying down, and I kind of played the song, and I was holding her, and that's when I said goodbye to her, properly again, you
Yeah.
know. And then afterwards, I called my kids, and their kids came, and told I told my daughter's autistic as well, so she has to understand it. So I was
Mhm.
told that mum's gone, she's gone to heaven, and luckily, car could drive. Kyle drove, bought her, and then
Mm.
they spent about 2 hours with her. And I said, okay, take her home now. That's what I spent another couple of hours myself, just in the room, doing what I was doing, just there. Then I
Yeah.
had to go. I was given some information from the nurses. I can't remember. In and one out the next. They
I
took me out.
know there's just so much going on.
So much.
Um,
Didn't know.
yes, anyway, just,
I've gone too
coming
far. Sorry.
coming away from that now, really thank you for sharing all of that. I mean, I've had a death as well. My husband passed away, and unlike you, where you had a chance to have that closure, so to speak, I didn't, because I came home from work and found him. And so, he wasn't ill or anything, it wasn't expected. And I do identify with what you're saying, where you feel angry that the person has left you. How dare you leave me when
Mm,
we had all these
mm,
plans? But
mm,
it is what's happened. So just before we finish off, I mean, I found, for me, dealing with that, I used to talk a lot. I would talk to everybody and anybody who would listen. I would relay the whole process of me arriving home from
mm,
work,
mm,
finding him, trying to wake him up, to the calling of the ambulance and so forth.
mm,
All of that, I would relay the whole story. But it's what
mm,
helps me to get over it. I found talking a lot helps me to get over it.
mm.
What helped you to get over yours?
Well, what helps me is I write. I like writing poetry.
Right,
And
okay.
I write poetry. And one of the things I did when at the funeral, I wrote a poem for our wedding. I wrote two or three poems for our wedding. About and then I wrote some I wrote some poetry for the funeral, saying goodbye to her.
I did as
And
well, actually.
yeah,
Yes.
I wrote two saying goodbye. One, one about the wedding and how a wedding was going to be a good. That's back in 1991. I wrote that. Then I wrote kind of another slight change to that, saying goodbye to her from after the wedding. Then I wrote one about our love, and so on. And so I've always written from when I was about 10 or 11. I've written poetry. I got a lot of poetry. I want to get published at some point. Some
Yeah.
point. I'm trying to do that. That's another YouTube video.
Mm.
That's another YouTube video. You know, but what helped me as well, helped me is my love for music, soca music, calypso music. I love playing that because it's happy music and it keeps me happy, not
Yeah.
depressing. So I can play that, and I just have a dance and have a song and like you, talk to anybody that would listen.
Mm.
You know, I love
And it
talking.
does. I find it really, really does.
Talking to anybody
Yes.
helps me talk. So that's what I did. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And through talking, I met my new partner as well. Because I it sounds wrong to people who's going to say this, but
Not at
I
all.
I I I
And
went.
your wife
I
gave
met
you
my
permission.
yeah. My Pauline died in October.
Mm.
I signed up, which is what against my own judgment, signed up on a dating site, which is really strange,
Mm.
in November. Now people say, "Oh my God, that's ridiculous." I
Mm.
met Anita in December, who I'm with now, and she knew everything that happened to me, explained everything to me, and so. And there's a
Yeah.
few months when she wasn't sure whether it's going to work. You know, are you on a rebound? Are you sure? And blah 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 blah.
Mm.
You know, and that's fair questions you would ask yourself. You know,
Mm.
and but so far we're together 3 years, almost. It's our fourth year we're
Yeah.
together now
Good.
since Pauline passed away, and we engaged. We are engaged, and
Okay.
hopefully at some
Excellent.
point next year we'll get married if we can make the living
I'm
arrangements work.
sure.
That's what I'm trying to. We can sort that out. So that's really it's happy. It's working out. It's
Well,
working
I
out
think
okay.
actually that's a good. This is a nice point to end on. You know, having all of that. You know, going through all of that trauma because it's a very traumatic time and it takes a while to get over it. But it's really nice that you have met someone and you're making plans to get married. So anyway, we're going to have to end there. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Brendan, for sharing. You know, that with us is very kind of emotional, I'm sure, but thank you for sharing. And
Mm.
yes, thank you everyone for listening. I hope that you found that interesting. The takeaway that we will give you is just basically make sure that you talk to people. And another thing is that for both myself and for Brenton, we found also that music helps as well. And music is life. So on that note, we're going to say goodbye. And I will
Mm.
see you again for when I have another person to talk to on Let's Discuss with Missymak. This is Missymak,
Bye.
over, not out. Bye, everyone.
Bye.